The big story we are tracking: Joe Biden and US First Lady Dr. Jill Biden hosted a state dinner for Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, at the White House. The US President and the Indian Prime Minister said that the two democracies' partnership would define the next century. The state dinner marked just the third such honor of Biden's presidency. This state dinner featured several Silicon Valley executives on the guest list, including Apple's Tim Cook, Google's CEO Sundar Pichai, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, among others. Mahindra Group chairperson Anand Mahindra and Reliance Industries AMD Mukesh Ambani were among the Indian business tycoons in attendance at that state dinner.
We are right now at the state banquet, which has been kept in the honor of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, we know that it's part of the diplomatic protocol, and this is the official state visit. So, all the highest diplomatic protocol is being followed. Now, who's who of United States and India are present here in this dinner, and we know that this has been a hectic day, essentially, with the Indian Prime Minister being honored, and then, of course, we saw the Indian Prime Minister's address to the US Congress. But all in all, a very productive and a day which will be seen as a milestone day in India-US relationship, now coming to a close with an official state banquet in the honor of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It has vegetarian food, millets as well, something that India has been pointing to, the use of millets and something that India has been terming as superfood. Sudhan Sibal for WION at the state banquet at the White House in Washington, D.C.
A state dinner honoring a visiting head of government or reigning monarch is one of the grandest and the most glamorous White House affairs. The traditional toasts exchanged by the two leaders at the dinner offer an important platform for the continuation of serious dialogue. The Indian Prime Minister hailed cultural ties between the world's largest democracies. The 3.5 million plus strong Indian American community is an important ethnic group in the United States, accounting for about 1% of the total population of the country.
जैसे जैसे समय गुजर रहा है, हमारे लोगों में और एक दूसरे के प्रति समझ और बढ़ रही है, एक दूसरे के नामों का सही उच्चारण कर पाते हैं, एक दूसरे के एक्सेंट को समझ पाते हैं। भारत में बच्चे हैलोवीन पर स्पाइडरमैन बनते हैं और अमेरिका के युवा नाटू नाटू पर डांस करते हैं।
Washington and New Delhi have been moving closer for over 2 decades now. Successive US presidents have displayed bipartisan support for stronger ties with the emerging Asian economy and regional power. President Joe Biden has built on that legacy and has expanded that cooperation.
Great honor to address the United States Congress. It is an exceptional privilege to do so twice. Madam Vice President.
All right, let's now analyze the key outcomes, the deliverables of this state visit, as that banquet is currently on at the White House. We are now being joined by Raymond A. Vickery from Washington, D.C. He's former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Trade and Development and Senior Associate at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. Right, sir. Prime Minister Modi has called the visit a new chapter in comprehensive global strategic partnership between the two countries. President Biden called this relationship one of the most defining relationships of the 21st century. How do you see these strong ties between the two countries, the two biggest democracies, when you look at through the prism of the global scenario, what's happening globally?
Well, I think it's been a great day for U.S.-India relations and a great day from democracy, right from the opening ceremonies to the talks between the president and the prime minister to the address to the United States Congress and now the banquet and the toast which have been exchanged. I've long believed, as have many in the United States, that these two great democracies should be the closest of partners on the world stage to try to produce peace and prosperity. I believe that what's happening is that the Prime Minister and the President have built on a strong bipartisan consensus, Republicans and Democrats in the United States, to further that and to take it to new heights. But make no mistake about it, there is plenty more to be done. The centerpiece announcement is, of course, of the GE engines, which would make it possible to produce fighter planes of a quality in India which have never been produced before. The economic relationship has been a driver in regard to the relationship, and I think that Prime Minister Modi played on that. He understood about a legislature. He spoke in English, and he named by states, Alabama, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, those states which would have been benefited and are being benefited by Indian investment in the United States and U.S.-India economic relations. So this is a great step forward. The question is, what will you be able to put on the bones? What flesh will go onto the bones? Right now, the bet of the Biden administration is that a strong India is a counterweight to China expansionism throughout the Indo-Pacific area. And it is true that India has much at stake. After all, China claims an entire Indian state, Arunachal Pradesh, as well as other parts of Indian territory. It wants to expand further into the South China Sea and does not operate under a rule of law. But it is not sufficient for the United States and India just to say that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. What needs to be done is to take what WION has tried to preach for these many years, that the world is in fact one, and that the interests of both India and the United States extend beyond border protection. They go to building peace and stability, whether it be in Asia, whether it be in Africa, whether it be in Ukraine. And thereupon we have much to be decided as to whether or not there is going to be the kind of positive action that India will take on its own, not because of any ally relationship, but on its own to fulfill its own professions of democracy, rule of law, human rights in the world.
Interesting perspective there. Mr. Vikri, stay with us. We also have Susan Tehrani now joining us live from New York. She's been tracking all the developments of the state visit of Prime Minister Modi to the United States.